We are live. Okay. Oh my gosh. Well, I'm so excited to be joining you. This is like the moving edition of the morning sales supercharge. So hence the drinking out of a red Solo cup because we haven't unpacked our cups yet. Oh my gosh, Laura, good morning. How are you? Girl, I'm in your town right now. We need to catch up. Heather, good morning. Yeah, so this is moving edition of the sales supercharge. I'm sitting, I don't normally sit, but we haven't sat in what feels like 5 days. I'm going to sit down and do this one. Laura, good morning. Heather, hi. So good to see you. And I got to tell you too, normally these aren't very pre-planned. Like if you follow me, you know that, but I usually try to have at least like a little more notes for what we're going to be talking about. We are talking today, let me adjust this. Thank you so much for the hearts. We're talking about questioning your limitations, which is, I feel like we could do like a year's worth of content around that, but I know we are talking about that. Oh, Alexis on LinkedIn, good morning. So good to see you. But today, y'all, I was trying to find a toothbrush like right before this. So I'm just going to tell you, it's going to be a little more ad hoc, like when I'm still drinking out of a Solo cup and I can't find a toothbrush. We're just going to kind of roll with it on the morning supercharge. But the point is, I'm so thrilled to be here with you and to have an office that has doors too. I'm loving that. This is kind of a big deal. In the world of having a 13-month-old and dogs that like to barge in all the time. So office is still getting set up. You'll probably see it evolving this week, but how is everyone? Did we have a good weekend? Are we excited for the week? Let me know in the comments. I missed all of you on Friday, and also thank you too for just kind of bearing with me while we were in transit and getting things moved in. But this topic, okay, so we'll get to the point. So the topic for today of questioning your limitations, this thing happened hardcore for me this weekend. I will tell you that while we were moving in. And I shared this, I'm actually going to do like a little new home tour on social probably sometime this week. We're still just like getting unpacked and getting everything set up. But I really had this happen hard for me on Saturday, the first day that we moved in here, because it's a very different way than we were living before. So we were, kind of like the suburban house with the backyard, yada, yada. And we just had this desire to move back to Durham, which is where Jason and I live together. It's part of North Carolina. So Jason and I lived together here for years, not years, maybe like a year previously. And then we've been in Atlanta for like 4 years, and we've just been missing this place, but we didn't want to we're going to be moving up to Maine in next summer anyway. So we didn't want to buy a house and go through all that. So we were just looking for places that we could rent for a while we're here. And the place that we found, I talked about this, what was the podcast episode? I don't know, 114, 115, but the one about major life updates. The place that we found was so far beyond anything that I would have ever thought I would be living in, if that makes sense. I'll show. Oh, good morning, Nancy, Wendy, Elizabeth. So good to see all of you. Good morning. Good morning. We're talking today about questioning your limitations, which is such a juicy, such a good topic. I'm just sharing a personal experience where this came up for me this weekend. The place that we're living right now that worked out for us, it's literally, it's crazy. I'm so grateful. And I found myself over the weekend being wait, is this okay? Can we really we don't live in a place like that kind of thing coming up. And it was so interesting because I noticed that there was part of me that still felt oh my gosh, am I ready to allow this level of expansion into our life? And let me know if you can relate to that too, where you've had something really great happen that you've been working towards for a while, and you're yes, that's on the vision board, you're going for it. And then it happens and you're wait, who, me? Can this happen? Jamie, good morning. Laura on LinkedIn, good morning. Good to see you. So let me know if you've ever had that happen. Okay, so I'm seeing from the hearts, you all have had that happen. And it was so interesting because we think when the thing happens that we've been going for, it's just and like, and that is a big piece of it. But sometimes too, we can question like, am I worthy of it? Can I have this? Can I do that? And so I'm really still kind of like settling into this of like, no, this is where we live. This is okay. This is good. Like, you are worthy of this. It is, you're a match. And so it's been a very interesting process, because I noticed there was part of me that was still feeling unworthy of this. And so today's talk is as much for me as it is for you, as they always are. But when that comes up, whether it's, let's tie it into sales, right? So let's say there's a dollar amount that you're going for. If you're watching this in real time, it's September. Let's say there's a dollar amount. The walls still are apparently not soundproof here, so you probably hear little man. But let's say there's like a dollar amount you're going for, and it feels really stretchy for you, okay? Well, what I would invite you to think about, Kalua, good morning. Oh my gosh, good morning. It's good to be in the same state as you, sister. What I would invite you to think about is, for somebody else, that amount is like that, right? And this is part of why it's so important to get in the room or in the vicinity or in the energy of people who are showing up at a bigger level than you. And you can think about, like, let's say that you're going for like a $10,000 a month or a $100,000 a month. I don't care. But I like, this analogy makes me laugh. But I think it was Reese Evans, founder of Yes Supply, the coaching program that I'm going through right now, say this, where she was like, if Kim Kardashian had a $100,000 month, she would be like in panic. She would be like, how am I gonna, right? Like, that's probably mortgage, or, she probably doesn't have a mortgage, but like, it's all relative, right? It's all relative. So these self-imposed limitations that we create for ourselves are paradigms, right? It's just our conditioning. And so you can figure out what your limitations are by looking at what your, not your true limitations, but your self-perceived, self-created limitations, by looking at how much are you willing to allow into your life. And that shows up in terms of how much money you're making every month, your living situation, your health, your whatever your personal relationships are. And that'll tell you what those self-imposed limitations are. But if we take them as truth, then we always stay there, right? Like, if you take any of that as your truth, you're going to keep creating more and more of that over and over again in your life. So you have to learn to question it and realize that any sort of limitation, any sort of cap that you've put on yourself, you can blow wide open. And that's the invitation here as well for you to do. So let's go back to the dollar amount, right? Like, notice you've probably got a goal. And if it's a good goal, it feels stretchy. It's like, I don't know how it's going to happen, but I'm going for it. But I want you to think about right now 10xing that goal. So let me know in the comments, when you think about your target for this month, whatever your income or revenue target is for this month, if you took that number, even if it already feels stretchy, and you 10x'd it, I just want you to check in and notice how that feels in your body. Heather's saying, so good, I've been feeling stuck. You're in the right place, sister, okay? You're in the right place. So notice if you're like, oh, like that would never happen, right? Well, here's the thing. There's someone who has, and it's just a decision. This is all that it is. It's just a decision. There is someone, Jamie's saying it feels impossible. Great awareness. Notice now, I want you to try to just, and maybe you don't know, but I bet you could think about maybe some of the podcasters you follow, some of the people you know. There are people who are doing that right now, and are doing 10x that. Like, it's all relative, and if they can, you can too. It's all about how much you're willing to allow into your life. Okay. I think I already said moving plus mom brain right now. I'm like, did I say we are talking about this on the podcast this week? So tune into tomorrow's episode. Kalua is saying, holy crap. Yeah, but does it also feel exciting, right? Like, does it feel exciting? Does it feel expansive? Does it feel like, oh my gosh, what kind of a life could I live at that level? And I want you, this would be a great thing for you to do today. Go just like do some research. Go just search online and look for people who are already doing it, and notice they're no different than you. Many of them grew up in even more challenging circumstances. They all put their, the old thing, like they all put their pants on the same way as we do, right? Like there's nothing different. It's just a decision that they made that they were worthy of it and that they could do it. Jamie's saying the thing is, I know it's believing it. Okay. So Jamie, with that, Clue is saying exciting. Yeah. So with that, that's the mindset work, right? Where it's like over and over again. And that's right, because you've got access to the 10K curriculum. I'd invite you to go back through some of that initial training on the rewiring your brain, like notice how much you're really doing that. Because there's a process, right? And that's really good awareness too. Because once you believe it, then you'll do it. Like once you believe it, then it'll happen for you. And there's no judgment if you don't believe it yet, because that's all this game is helping you match your inner conception of you with your goals and with your desires. Because when you see yourself, like that's what I'm doing right now, is like, oh, like I am a woman who lives in a place like this and it's okay. So that's the game. I like every day in the mirror, every 2 days that I've lived here in the mirror, it's like, I live in and I affirm like the type of place I live in a place like this. Like I am, you're saying you're so close. Exactly. And you know that. And that's the fun too. Like that's actually what this is. That's the whole creative process of your life, is like learning to shift those belief systems and then enjoying the unfolding of it. Because as you do see yourself as that person, you'll start to naturally take the actions that person would take. But it's the inner game, right? It's the inner work. It's the practice. Zero judgment when you realize your belief systems you don't yet see yourself as the person who has that, but just the awareness, like, oh, that's why it hasn't happened yet. Okay, well, let me go back to anchoring back in the belief that I am the woman who has this. Laura's saying, I love this. I can't wait for when this shows up for me too. So exciting. Yes. And Laura, too, to your point, let me make sure I'm like looking both screens. It's fun. And it's that excited anticipation, Laura, like that energy you're in is perfect. I love this. I can't wait for when this shows up for me too. And then like the certainty that it will, and it is, right? And then just the excitement of like, how's it going to unfold? How's it going to happen? And being in that excited anticipatory energy, that's when you're there. Like that's when you're there. And then the unfolding process of it becomes almost as much fun as the actual physical manifestation of it in your world. But I want to read to you. This was inspired by, so for those of you who are, there's so many. I stole Jason's copy of Think and Grow Rich, and he has like a bajillion index cards in it that are falling out every time I use it. So we're doing a Think and Grow Rich book study. Thank you for the hearts. Oh my gosh, my child. Okay. What's happening outside the door? Okay. We're doing a Think and Grow Rich book study together. This was inspired by this first chapter here, the introduction. And I just want to read to you this one sentence. Another weakness found in altogether too many people is the habit of measuring everything and everyone by their own impressions and beliefs. So listen to that. Their own impressions and beliefs. And then actually, let me read you one other sentence. He says, 2 sentences. We refuse to believe, or we think odd, that which is not familiar or which we do not understand. We foolishly believe that our own limitations are the proper measure of limitations. Isn't that good? Like, I want to read that. Thank you for the hearts. I want to, and Rochelle, good morning. Good to see you. I want to read that to you again. We foolishly believe that our own limitations are the proper measure of limitations. We could probably talk about that for a good week or two, right? So just note it, like question everything. This is what the invitation is for you today. Question everything. Question what you feel your limitation is. And then like you think it's true, it's not. It's just true in your own mind. But that doesn't mean that it is for somebody else. And go back to that, like whether it's, I kind of have fun with the Kim Kardashian analogy, but whoever it is, like Richard Branson, Warren Buffett, I don't care. Like, what would they think about what you feel is that limit, right? For many of them, they would say, I can't live on that amount, okay? And there's nothing different than about you, except that they have set up a different belief system about what they require and about what the limitations are, realizing that there really are no limitations. It's just the self-imposed ones. So I invite you to carry that with you into this week and just notice when a thought shows up or when you think about something and then your body, you have a restricted feeling in your body that tells you can't have it. That's your feedback. That's your biofeedback. That is the self-imposed limitation that you've created, and just notice. And then it's time to go into more of the mindset work around it, the visualizing, the affirming, and just having fun. Like so many of the ladies have posted here this morning, the energy of more like, I'm super close. I know this is happening. I'm excited for how it's going to happen. That's the energy we want to be in when we're shifting our belief systems around what's possible for us. Okay. Jan, good morning. Good to see you. So that's it. We have time for if anyone has a quick question on anything, you're welcome to pop it in the comments. I shared this last week, but we've got a masterclass coming up next Tuesday for women who want to break through 6 figures or beyond in sales and income. So send me a DM if you want the link for that, because spaces for that are limited. So I'm more than happy to send you the link, but I'd love to have you there. Oh, thank you, Jan. We're still getting it set up. Our movers literally came yesterday afternoon, and we're like, I'm laughed about this. I'm drinking out of a red Solo cup. I'm like, this is water. I promise it's water. We're still unpacking a lot. But thank you so much. I'm so excited to have a door on my office. This is next level. I didn't tell you all this. This hopefully Jason won't kill me. But if you were watching the live streams before, my office was our dining room, and it opened up into the kitchen, which was behind me. And Jason would be like, I would notice when he was going behind me, he'd be moving really slow. Like if I was on video and I was like, why are you going so slowly? And he was like, somewhere in my mind, I felt like if I went slowly, no one would see me. He'd be like creeping behind to like go put some coffee in the microwave. I was like, no, they can still see you. We can all still see you. It's okay though. But now there's doors and we can have some privacy. And I'm excited. I'm here for it. So, all right, friends. So good to see all of you. We are on all 5 days this week. We're getting settled in. So join me again every weekday morning, 8:30 Eastern. And right now we're doing a Think and Grow Rich book study, which is all about helping you up-level your money consciousness, right? Money mindset. That is a super, super, super important piece to hitting your sales, your abundance, your prosperity goals. And so I'm enjoying being here with you all in the mornings or afternoon, whatever time zone you're joining in. All right. Have a fabulous rest of your Monday. Wishing you all a beautiful day. Send me a DM if you want the link for next week's masterclass, and I will see all of you tomorrow morning. Bye for now. Have a great day.